Okay, I'm going to open council time for Wednesday, June the 2nd. And we'll begin with approving. Actually, is there a change to the agenda?
Chair.
Yes, Councillor Bowerman.
I'm sorry, my phone is ringing. I wish to amend the agenda to discuss the vacant business buildable lands model.
Okay, and to discuss that today or on a different date?
Well, to the
well, actually, yeah. I'm sorry. Yes. Well,
may I explain the motion?
I'm sorry. What?
Would you like me to explain the motion?
Yes, please.
I would. Is this the time to discuss it, or shall we do it at a later point?
Let's just add it to the agenda to discuss it when we get to work session requests. Okay,
thank you.
Okay, we'll put that as 4.2 under work session requests. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of the May 26th meeting, please?
I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the May 26th meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. We don't have any new business today. And do we have any councillor reports? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we're going to move to the work session requests. And we do have 4.1. Kathleen or whomever, would you like to explain that?
I can certainly just give a high-level overview, and Mark Gassaway is on as well. So there is a work session request to discuss the American Rescue Plan funds and next steps, which include a presentation of the revenue replacement calculations, ongoing COVID expenses, and new internal and external requests. And I'll let Mark provide any additional detail as well.
Good morning, Council. Can you hear me? Good.
Yes.
Good. Thank you. This is a planned work session we had discussed earlier. We wanted to come back with to Council when we had more information. We've been gathering information about the ARPA funding from the Department of Treasury, from our local resources and national-wide resources as well. We are in the process now of formulating the plan under the guidance we've previously received, and we want an opportunity to present that information to Council, as well as plan out going forward what the Council priorities are. As you know, we're receiving this year $47.5 million of ARPA funding. That should arrive this week. So we will have that in our treasury this week. And so this is, the timing is certainly appropriate to present to Council so that you can continue your considerations of how the county would like to best utilize that. Also, I want to take the opportunity to introduce Laura Young. Laura Young is our program coordinator for our ARPA funding, and will be intimately involved in this process going forward. So.
Thank you, Mark. Happy to be here. Wonderful to be in Clark County. Thanks so much.
Okay. That, I'm sure that the Council wants to hear that, so we will be having that work session coming up in the very near future. Do we have a date for this? Will it be next week?
The date on the request is looking at the end of June.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Madam Chair, very briefly, I'm just wondering if Laura, if you're still on, Did she just move to Clark County? Can we hear something of her background? We appreciate the new hire. Hi, Laura. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you. Absolutely. I'm having a little trouble with my mic. Do I sound all right?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so I actually am in the process of relocating to Clark County. I am a Portland native. I've lived in Oregon my entire life, and like so many of us, seeking a little more elbow room, moving to the more rural area of Clark County. So very excited to be here and really happy to be a part of the team, and still a lot to learn, but Mark is incredibly patient and knowledgeable, and this is a great team. So thanks so much for having me.
Well, super. Welcome to north of the river.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Any other questions? I'd be happy to answer anything I'm able to.
Laura, why don't you just take
Other
a
questions?
real quick minute and just explain your experience. I was quite impressed with Laura as we interviewed, and I think that her experience is going to be very important as the council decides to go forward with some of these things. So.
Great. Yeah. So I have spent many years in workforce development, working with low-income communities and BIPOC communities and other communities of color in North and Northeast Portland. I was the Northeast Regional District Manager for all of the workforce development programs with Portland Community College and Oregon Department of Human Services prior to coming to Clark County. And prior to that, I was with Native American Youth and Family Center organizations for several years, working with Native communities, doing equity-focused capital investment, micro enterprise, and other kinds of locally focused equity building activities.
Great. I look forward to your recommendations and an update on what we may have coming to the county.
Thank you. This is an incredible opportunity for me and for Clark County and for the community. So I'm just really excited to be a part of this project. And please feel free to reach out to me anytime. As I learn, I hope to become a resource for everyone, for building a sort of a resource body of information around this subject. So please feel free to reach out.
Thank you. We're happy to have you in Clark County.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let's move on then to Councillor Bowerman's request for a work session. Would you like to take the floor now, Councillor Bowerman, and explain?
Thank you very much. First is I would request that staff add 10% to the supply side of the model. And then to follow on that, to request that we have a work session, preferably Wednesday, June 9, if that is okay with the chair, the staff, and so on. And that work session would include a presentation from staff on the updated model. It would include a presentation from the industry regarding the background and justification, the explanation for that addition. And the industry members would include Justin Wood, Eric Galimo, Jamie Housley, and Jerry Olson, whom you have heard about before in that they signed that original letter that came to council regarding the vacant buildable lands model. And the purpose of doing this is to ensure that the VBLM is as accurate as possible, actually accounting for the unconvertible lands in particular. And the entire council would then have an opportunity to participate in discussion prior to going to public hearing, which I believe is scheduled for the following week on June 15. So that would enable all of council to discuss this openly prior to that hearing.
Okay, is there any objection from council that we hold this work session next week?
I have a couple of questions.
Councillor Lance?
So the purpose of this work session is to bring new information into what we are talking about, and continue to change the direction that is given to staff. I am open to the conversation, but I'm beginning to think that since the goal keeps changing, perhaps we should also have a conversation about extending the date of the hearing, because it seems that every time we talk about the VBLM, there is a new request from the industry to change the materials we're working with and the assumptions that are going into the model. At this point now, we have already given notice of the hearing. The materials have been posted, so we would be continuing to change the materials that are out there for the public to review, based on the input of the building industry that has a vested interest, but not hearing from other parties. I think this is a potentially problematic move.
Madam Chair.
Councillor Bowerman?
Councillor Lentz said that the goal continues to change, and actually the goal remains to get this model as accurate as possible, and accounting in particular for the unconvertible lands, which has not really been done to this point. And a part of the reason for that is because of the omission of the demand side. This is really not a new request, or something that is has not been talked about before, because from the very beginning, the request was that there be a 10% and 25% factor in the market factor. And for various reasons, that didn't happen. So by moving this 10% simply to the supply side, we would see it and it would be accounted for up front. So that is the only change in how it would be calculated. And we would, and the reason for having a work session would be to discuss that and see it.
I have another question.
Okay.
I saw
Councillor
Oliver on here earlier. I'm not sure if you're. It looks like you're still here. Hopefully you are. We've heard from staff that the market factor is something that typically gets applied in the demand side, and that is a council decision. A question that I have, if we're asking staff to once again make changes to the direction they're being given, if a week is sufficient to take on something like this.
Well, I see some staff are on, Madam Chair. I think that's an important question to answer. And I do have some additional comments once we hear from staff.
Oliver is here.
Good morning, councillors and county manager. I believe Bob Poole and Jose are also on the line. I think that Bob Poole, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Bob can run the model and be ready to present this next Wednesday. Bob, chime in if I'm wrong.
So you're saying, Oliver, that he has the time to be able to present this. Is that correct, Oliver? Is that what you said?
That's what I'm saying, Madam Chair. I thought Bob called in online. So I just want him to confirm. I don't want to put a lot of work on his plate. He's the one that runs the model. So I'm assuming that he will be able to do so and present that on June 9th. If it's not online, I will reach out to him later, but I think he can be able to do so. That's all
Okay,
I'm
great.
saying. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair, I had a comment I would like to make.
Okay, Councillor Mukherjee, please.
Thank you. So I don't see this as a change of direction whatsoever, and it's more than just keeping an open mind. It's the quest for us, I think, is to gather as much fidelity and information, especially as we get to these finer points. These are points of discussion that the stakeholder group addressed, the consultant addressed, we've talked about. We're now just trying to better inform ourselves as we get into a little bit more detail on some possible changes. I mean, this is some foundational work that's going to be of great value in making the very best decisions and policy choices that we have to make. So we're looking to gather more information, not changing direction. That the people that were mentioned by Councillor and Bowerman are longstanding in our community. They are individual experts that know the community probably better than any consultant, and perhaps better than some of our own staff. And they're experts in their respective fields. So I think it really would behoove us to hear this additional information. So when it comes time to make policy choices, we are the best informed we can possibly be.
I just want to add on that I look forward to this conversation. I hope that since, as Councillor Bowerman mentioned, these esteemed individuals are going to be bringing data to inform the requests that they're making for us to continue to change the model, that they can bring that, because we did hire experts. We did retain volunteer committee of experts that had good diversity in it, unlike this small representative sample now. And we continue to change the goalposts. So I hope, and this is Councillor Quiring, let me finish. I would like to ask the folks who are going to be coming and speaking during the work session, please, I very much look forward to seeing the evidence that you have for the claims you're asking us to consider. Thank you.
This is an educational process, and they will bring the information, and that is what the purpose of this work session is, to inform councillors of the actual on-the-ground evidence and data that exists. In order
they've had plenty of time, we haven't seen it yet.
Excuse me, I'm speaking. If you would just hold off. I'm saying this is an opportunity for you to learn more, Councillor Lance. Several of us councillors have had the opportunity to learn more. This is an opportunity for the entire council to learn from this exercise. So we want to get this right. It is foundational. And I think that what we'll learn through this work session is that in the past, there has been land that has been added for the last 20, 30 years that has not converted, and we need to be sure to include that in our calculation. So without objection, we will have that work session on June the 9th, so stay tuned. Moving on to, I guess that will actually, do we need to have a vote on that? Would it be good to have a motion and a vote on that at this point?
I don't think you need
has made the motion.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think you need an official vote. I just need to make sure that we have the majority of the council supporting this, and I think I've heard that.
Well,
yeah, I think so.
Sometimes, Madam Chair, I think sometimes, just for clarity purposes, because sometimes words seem to vary with intentions. I would second Karen Bowerman's motion. I think we should have a vote, just to have it clear.
Okay. Okay, so Councillor Bowerman has moved that we change that we request a work session for June the 9th to add 10% to the supply side of our vacant lands model. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
So the motion passes. Thank you. That looks like that concludes our business of the day. However, we do have an executive session coming up. So we will conclude this, and I'm going to try to sign in. If I cannot sign in, I am intending on trying to create a video so that you can see I'm by myself. But I will try to sign in and do that. If I cannot do that, my hope is that I'll be able to join somehow. So we will adjourn this meeting and go into executive session.
And if
Thank
I
you.
can clarify for the record, the executive session is 3 pending litigations per RCW 42.301101I, and it's a total of 45 minutes. An attorney will be present and there will be no action.
Thank you very much,
You're welcome.
Kathleen. All right, we are adjourned.